Welcome to another episode of the Caroline Glick Show. On October 7th, it wasn't just that 1,200 Israelis were murdered. It's also, of course, that 240 Israelis were taken hostage by Hamas. And the twin goals, essentially, of freeing the hostages and eradicating Hamas have been the center of the war effort ever since. We've heard a lot about the hostages. We saw the hostage for terrorist deal that went through a week and a half ago that brought the rescue of over 100 hostages, including most of the children, except for the children of the Bibas family. We still have 17 women in Gaza being held hostage, mainly young. And the rest of the 137 hostages in Gaza are men. And we've been hearing various things from the hostages' families about how they feel about the government and about what should be done. And I wanted to talk today with Tzvika Mor, who is the father of Eitan Mor, 23, who is one of the hostages being held in Gaza. So I was very happy that Tzvika could make time to join us today to discuss his son and the thinking behind how his family is looking at the war and the twin goals of the war of rescuing the hostages, including, of course, his son, Eitan, and also about eradicating the enemy. So first of all, thank you so much, Tzvika, for joining me today on the program. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Caroline. Chanukah Sameach.
Chanukah Sameach. Why don't we start with you telling us a bit about Eitan? Who is your son, Eitan?
Yes. So we were living in Kiryat Arba, me and my wife Efrat, and we have 8 kids. And Efrat and Eitan is our oldest son, 23 years old. After army, he's a combat fighter, and before the war, he used to work as in a copy shop in Jerusalem and in a security team from time to time. And in Simchat Torah, he was in a security team in the Nova Festival. And in 6:30 in the morning, when the attack began, Eitan and the friends were rescued injured people, and after a couple of hours, they find about 20 civilians, which were hiding in the garbage and under burned cars and in the bushes, and they took them and they created a security ring for these civilians, and they began to escape from this area. About 2:30 afternoon, Eitan and best friend Eliakim Livman from Kiryat Arba saw 2 bodies. They went to see what's going on, and they saw that they were murdered. So they decided to took the bodies with them, but it probably was difficult to carry the bodies and to keep running. So they decided to bury the bodies in a pit that they were found before. And so they took one of the bodies and buried it in that pit, and went to take the other body, and then they were shooting and missiles, and they were gone. All this story I heard from a witness, one of the security team who saw all of this story, and tell me. His name is Moshe that's just made Aliyah from Belgium.
Amazing. So your son actually saved the lives of 20 people at the Nova Festival, and then he and his friend Yashiv Liebman went back and they found the two bodies of the women, and they tried to rescue them so they wouldn't be stolen to Gaza. And that was when they were captured?
Yes, more than 20. Yeah, it was Eitan and Eliakim. More than 20. Because in the morning, in the beginning of the attack, they find a little vehicle, like in Hebrew it's called a tractoron. So
it's an ATV in English, an all-terrain vehicle.
Yes, ATV. Yes, they took this ATV and they evacuate injured people to another area, which was with ambulances and police. So it's more than 20. I think it's about 80. Okay, about 80. Yes, 80 people.
It's an amazing hero, and it was at the time, according to the eyewitness, that they were trying to get the second body to bury her. That they were seized, that they were taken.
Yes, and in Tuesday morning, me and Eliyahu Liebman, we decided to go to the south to look for our kids. So Eliyahu didn't want us to be in a dangerous area, so he went alone with this Moshe, and they find the bodies. They find the bodies, these two bodies. Also, the army and the police evacuated all the bodies which were grounded there. They left these two bodies because they didn't find them. So
because they were buried.
Yes. So it's a miracle. They could stay there for hundreds of years.
Wow, it's an incredible story, and Yashiv Liebman's father, of course, is the mayor of Kiryat Arba, and he's also a hero of Israel.
Yes, Eliakim. It's not Eliashiv, it's
Eliakim.
Yes.
Eliakim.
Yes. Eliyahu is the mayor of Kiryat Arba.
Can you tell me a little bit about Kiryat Arba? Because I know, the thing that maybe our viewers know, maybe they don't. Kiryat Arba is the town next to the city of Hebron, and it's gotten, all of the people who want to demonize the settlers, the Jews who live in Judea and Samaria, they have demonized Kiryat Arba, they've demonized the Jewish community of Hebron, but you guys are a community of incredible strength and spirit. It just seems like everybody in Kiryat Arba is a hero. It's sort of an amazing story because Kiryat Arba is a predominantly, not entirely, religious community, and the party goers at the Nova Festival were largely, although not entirely, very secular, and it was the boys from Kiryat Arba that were handling the whole security in the Nova Festival, and the young men who were there. We've heard stories about Tzvika and Eliakim, and we heard from the head of the security group, Fetterman. They saved hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people there that morning, and all they were armed with were some of them weren't armed at all, right? Was your son armed?
No, he wasn't. No.
So what kind of community is Kiryat Arba that you know? It's an amazing place.
Yes. So we're living in Kiryat Arba for 24 years, and when we are about 8,000 people in Kiryat Arba, okay, of course, Jews, of course, and 30% of the people of Kiryat Arba are not religious, okay? Are not religious. But in Kiryat Arba, you have to be hero, okay? Because we are getting stones and Molotov cocktails and shooting, okay, for 24 years. But when we got married, we decided we were asked ourselves, where will be important for Am Israel to live, and we decided to live in Kiryat Arba. Our parents lived in Tel Aviv, and it was difficult for us to raise our eight kids alone in Kiryat Arba, but we decided to do the best for Am Israel. So I think that I'm not a special guy from Kiryat Arba. We are all of us are talking like I'm talk, and this situation, this and this I would just say the air of Hebron made us to be heroes, and we are trying to do the best for Am Israel. I think that it will come a day that the people of Israel will appreciate the donation to Am Israel.
Well, I certainly appreciate it. How are you guys? How do you how do you live knowing that your son is in the hands of these monsters?
So we as a family, before the war, we are a very happy and optimistic family. If you will come today to my house, you can meet a very happy and optimistic family. We are playing and kidding, and we decided to be happy. Although our son is hostage. Okay, we don't want to give a price to Hamas. Okay, Hamas kidnapped our son. We are not going to give him another price. We are not going to be sad. We are not going to be poor, and we are not going to cry. We are strong. Okay, we understood that we have to be strong for the people of Israel, because all the eyes of the people of Israel are following us. They want to see what's going on with the hostages' families, and I think that we are doing our duty because we love our nation. Okay,
but it's I guess a lot of people feel that there's a contradiction between the goal of eradicating Hamas and the goal of rescuing the hostages, because every moment that the hostages remain in Gaza, their lives are imperiled, and it takes time to win the war. And so you have, among the hostages' families, you have a very large group of families that are demanding that the government just follow Hamas's demands and accept a ceasefire, free all of the terrorists from Israeli prisons in order to get the hostages back. And then there are other groups that like your family that are saying no. How do you view the situation on, I think it's called the hostages steering committee of the families of the hostages, that's the main group that's being organized by the PR guy Ronen Sur, who was one of the leaders of the anti-Netanyahu protests over the past year?
Yes. So I want to tell you that there is nobody knows, okay, how many families support ceasefire, okay? I think that there are about 15 families that want a ceasefire, and we are about 15 families too. Okay, so the most of the families didn't say a word since October 7. Okay, they didn't write anything in our WhatsApp group. Okay, so we're not we don't know them. Okay, we don't know who they are. But these 15 families want Israel to make a ceasefire. They're very, very noisy, okay? And they are doing all these demonstrations.
Demonstrations.
Yes, demonstrations, and they are doing all these posters and in the streets and in the media. But we don't have so much money, okay, to do all of that. They have a lot of money, okay. Unfortunately, we found out that this group in Tel Aviv, this group, Ronen Tzur group in Tel Aviv, are a part of the Kaplan group.
The Kaplan group they call themselves the Kaplan Brigade, and that's the group that was sort of formed around former Prime Minister Ehud Barak and Shikma Bressler and former Defense Minister Moshe Yaalon, and their job, as they've seen it over the past year, is to do everything that they can in order to overturn the results of the 2022 elections through civil disobedience, through mass protests, through for refusing to serve in the IDF, and all the other things that we've spoken about in the world before October 6th on this show. And Ronen Tzur was with them in these groups, and they called themselves the Kaplan Brigade or the Kaplan Force, and so they sort of latched on to the hostage crisis as a means, as a sort of a lever in order to now maintain through other means their calls for Netanyahu to resign, for his government to be overthrown.
Yes, at this time you can see in the site of Restart Israel. This is the site of the Kaplan Brigade. You can see the group of Ronen Tzur in this site. It's amazing. Okay, and we were very frustrated to find it, and I told them if you are going to keep with the Kaplan Brigade, okay, I cannot stand with you, okay, because Kaplan Brigade, I think they did a terrible thing in the past year.
Because, I mean, you guys had, they demanded a meeting with the war cabinet. It was last week. And the reports that came out of that meeting, which lasted for a very long time, was that they were trying to beat up Benzi Liebman. I mean, what happened at that meeting?
Eliyahu Liebman, yes.
Eliyahu Liebman.
Yes. So it was a terrible meeting between the families and the cabinet, and there were two fronts. Okay, one front was between the families. Families were shouting each other. Okay, because there are some families that think that only their agenda is considered, but and when other family is saying something else, so they are not allowed to say another things. Okay, and these were one front, and the other front was between the families and the cabinet. Okay, it was very, very. It was terrible. I was so embarrassed to be there, and when they were shouting to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and after 2 hours and about two hours and a half, I went away. Okay? But before I went, I get close to the cabinet table, and I said to them that I support them, and I said to them to be strong and to keep with the war until they will crush Hamas.
And did you get attacked for having said that by the other hostages' families, or did they not hear you? Or
No, they do not hear me because they were fighting, unfortunately.
gee, I'm so sorry that everybody has to go through this. It's unbelievable the way that people are capitalizing on other people's suffering. It's just horrible. And when you look at the way that the government has been handling the hostage crisis, so, I mean, how do you see it? Where do you what sort of grade, I guess, would you give the government in terms of handling this? Nobody has any experience with a hostage crisis of this magnitude. I don't think in any place in the world, certainly not being held by the likes of Hamas.
Yes. So when we saw that we cannot speak our values and thoughts, we established a Tkuma forum, and we support the cabinet and the government to keep the war and to try everything to rescue the hostages. There is no one family from the hostages families that are specialists about the with the hostages. Okay, I hope you understand me. And we support the cabinet because they're the best specialist about war, about hostages. Okay, and they are doing the best they can. And the second thing that we ask the cabinet and the government to cope with the hostages according to the security of Am Israel. Okay, so the rescue of the hostages cannot be considered, okay, without a national view.
I think that you said in a speech last night that I saw a snippet of on television that you were explaining that actually it isn't just 137 Israelis that are being held hostage by Hamas. It's actually 7 million Israeli Jews who are being held hostage by Hamas. Can you give a little bit of background to that? Because I think it's a key point in understanding how you view your son's specific personal captivity in Gaza, and also how you see the way that the two wars, the war to rescue the hostages and the war to eradicate Hamas, being interwoven, being tied to one another.
Yes. So in the past 12 years, okay, we were kidnapped by Hamas. Hamas decides when we will sleep good or bad, okay? Where Israel is the only state in the globe that allow the terrorists to shoot in about 2,000 missiles in average every year. Okay, so there are not 240 hostages. There are 7 million hostages here in Hamas, unfortunately. So we have to force Hamas to realize that we we made a change. Okay, we are now after the October 7, we are not going to give up. We are going to win this war. It's the first time for decades that Israel is saying that that we are going to win. Okay, we are going to win. We don't want only silence. We want to win this war. We want to destroy Hamas. Okay, I didn't hear this words for decades. Okay, in my service in IDF. Okay, and now I'm really very very happy to hear our cabinet and government saying these words, and we are seeing it in Gaza. Okay, that IDF destroyed Gaza and killed terrorists, and it's wonderful. We are very happy to see that.
And when you talk about the individual in the context of a nation, I mean, when I wrote against the Gilad Shalit deal from, what was it, like 2011 or something like that,
Yes,
I said, we know we're guaranteed that this deal is going to kill many, many Israelis. When you let out 1,028 hostages, hundreds of them are actually murderers from jail, you're guaranteeing. And I said, the only difference between Gilad Shalit and the people who are going to die as a result of this deal is that we know his name, but we don't know their names. And so their families don't get a vote on this because they don't know that their destiny has already been sealed if we take this deal. And here, and yet everybody could understand why Gilad Shalit's parents were saying, we want our son home. He was serving in the IDF. He was kidnapped as an IDF soldier, and you guys have to bring him home. And so it's like, well, if the state is failing, then worry about the individuals. But if you worry about the individuals, then you're guaranteeing that the state will fail, right? I mean, that's the whole problem here.
right. I think you're right that we know Gilad Shalit, okay, and we don't know the name and the faces of the Jews that are going to be killed, chas v'chalila, okay? But we surely know that after all these deals that terrorists were go out,
Freed.
were freed, yes, we saw that they start to kill Jews. So we can truly say that if we will allow these terrorists to be free, okay, it will be dangerous to Israel, to the Israeli people, to walk on the streets here. So we are going to resist, okay, this deal if it's going to happen.
I mean, it really is incredible, and it really speaks to Klal Yisrael, to the nation of Israel, to the Jewish collective here in Israel. And, I mean, can you talk a little bit? We have to sort of wind down. I know you have a very busy day ahead of you. Can you just give me your sense really about the way that you see the state of Israel? Here you guys are, you built your home in Kiryat Arba, which is not a simple task. You are surrounded by very hostile people. You don't live very far from me in Efrat, but I mean, Kiryat Arba is a difficult place. It's difficult to get there sometimes. You get shot at and everything on the roads. And you clearly have a sense of a state and what it's supposed to do. What does the state of Israel represent for you? What do you think does it have a mission? What exactly how do you look at the state?
Yes, in our family, we educated our children that Am Israel is the best thing in the world. Okay, we are living for Am Israel. We are not living for our lives. This is my clinic. You see, I'm not going to work, okay, to make money. I don't care about money. I care about my nation, my nation's future, okay, and I'm ready to sacrifice my life to my nation. And my son, my dear son, Eitan, was educated in this house. So I'm surely know that he is standing with me with every word I'm saying here. Okay, and in a couple of months before October 7, we're sitting in Shabbat in dinner, and my children asked me about Shalit deal. So I told them all the things that happened here in Israel 12 years ago, and suddenly, Eitan said, "If I will be kidnapped in the service by Hezbollah or Hamas, I'm not allow you, okay, to free me, to rescue me, okay, for terrorists." Okay, so Eitan said it to us, to his parents, and to his brothers. Okay, it's amazing. The soul knows.
That is an incredible story. You're a doctor. I forgot to even ask you before the conversation began. What it is that you do?
Yes, this is ADHD clinic. Yes.
A lot of that going around these days, I tell you. If you didn't have to spend so much time trying to explain what you're telling me because of Eitan's plight and your ordeal, I'm sure your business would have increased by 1,000%. I know personally it's awfully hard to focus on anything these days.
Okay, we have to be strong. Okay, we don't have a choice because Israel is in a war, and the win in the war, okay, is the best important thing now.
I agree. I think you're absolutely right, and I think that the understanding that we all have to be free for our hostages to be free is really a fundamental point. And I thank you so much to you and to your comrades, your colleagues, your neighbors who are fighting this fight really not just for your children but for everybody. And I think you're right. The way to bring Eitan home is to win. It's to win for him. It's to win with him, and bring everybody home. With our country free again from this.
Yes, we have to win for the next generations.
Well, God bless you, and Chanukah Sameach to you and to your family, and to the Lieberman family, and to all of the families of all of the hostages. And I'm sure you know, but you should know that we're praying for you guys continuously.
Thank you very much, Caroline, and Chanukah Sameach for all of you.
Thank you. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in a couple of days. Take care. Chag Sameach.